they are not telling you the full story about Iran. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Maj Toure Show. Y'all know the routine. Come on in, hit the like button. It is March the 18th of the year 2026. At least that's what they tell us it is. And we're talking about Iran. Tonight's show is going to be 1000% conversation around Iran. And I want to ask questions and genuine questions. Right now, obviously, you see we got Joe Kent, who just resigned from the National Counterterrorism Chair or seat. And that he's sitting down with Tucker Carlson now. That show is going on right now. And it's a lot happening. And I want to make sure that tonight's show, we're sitting down having a conversation, legitimate questions about what's actually going on in Iran and just simple questions. You guys can tap in. You guys can communicate. Terry, what's up? How are you, Terry? Terry, I'm struggling finding this Kelly Green, by the way. I'm gonna message you in a quick second after the show or something like that. Kelly Green is a interesting color. Quentin, what's up? Y'all know the routine. No, again, if you're watching on X, share the space all over the place. Costs you nothing to hit the repost button. Costs you absolutely nothing. If you're watching this on any other platform, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are on our way to 40,000. I think we're about, I want to say maybe 7, 8, maybe 900 subscribers away from 40,000 on YouTube. The overall goal this year is 100,000. Let's on the road to 100,000, 400,000, 40,000. We're going to get there fast. But I want to say thank you to everybody for sharing this space all over the place and supporting the actual work. Let me pull that up on the screen real quick. Guys, all of the show, all of the conversations that we have about politics, pop culture, sports, whatever, we tie it into solutions. And one of the solutions that we have at Solutionary University is strengthening more people about their human right or civil rights, as known as the Second Amendment, to make sure that people are safe and responsible firearms owners. And we just ask everybody to support the work. You can repost, you can subscribe and all that other good stuff. But we keep these classes going free to all because of your voluntary support and donations at givesendgo.com/solutionary. So everybody, please shoot over to the site. While you're watching the show, shoot over to the site and pitch in. Today's goal, we're going to try to do, let's do $5,000 tonight. Let's do $5,000 tonight as it relates to fundraising. 50 people giving up whatever the math is. Anyway, guys, we're going to hit the play button. We're going to start the show. Let's start out here. Right here. We have Joe Kent sitting down with Tucker Carlson. Let's play this first. And then we're going to jump right into the questions.
Good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation. How did you reach that conclusion?
Imminent threat. Key word, guys. Imminent. Does not mean next week. Does not mean 6 months from now. Does not mean for 47 years they've been yelling death to America. That's not what imminent means. Very, very key phrase.
I think this is key. I mean, this would be more challenging to explain had the Secretary of State, the President, and the Speaker of the House not come out and said that we conducted this attack at this time because the Israelis were about to do so. So that takes away the argument that there was an imminent threat, as in Iran was planning to attack us immediately. That just simply did not exist.
May I ask you to pause? And so I've heard people say that, and this just happened, but history has a way of getting rewritten in real time. And then you look back 10 or 15, 20, 25 years later, and no one seems to understand the things that you saw because they've been eliminated. So I think it's important to stop and say, here's what we actually know. So I'd like now, if we could, just to play one of the statements that you alluded to, and that's from Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State. And this was shortly after this war commenced. And he was explaining, as is his habit, in a thoughtful, precise way, why. Here's Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
And so the president made the very wise decision. We knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack against American forces. And we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would suffer higher casualties and perhaps even higher those killed. And then we would all be here answering questions about why we knew that and didn't act.
Now, I want to say this real quick, solutionaries. I generally fall in line with that, okay? If you get some intel that says hey, this guy's a terrorist and he's blowing stuff up or he's shooting something. A little bit of investigatory, work goes a long way, because we love to make fun of things after the fact. When a mass shooter shoots up something, and then we'll see the Simpsons meme saying, say the phrase, he was on our radar. So I'm not all the way in opposition to what Rubio said there as it relates to, hey, if we didn't make a move or at least go in this direction, we will be having a conversation about how come we didn't do nothing after the fact. So I somewhat lend room to what Rubio's saying there. Somewhat. But that means investigatory, not let's just go bomb a whole nation. Okay? Let's play a little bit more.
Okay, so that is his almost contemporaneous explanation, and it's not offhand. He reasons it out. He explains there's a logic chain there, and he says, we knew not that Iran was going to attack. He did not say that.
Right.
He said we knew that Israel was going to attack Iran, and in retaliation for those attacks by Israel against Iran, Iran might attack American forces. So the imminent threat that the Secretary of State is describing is not from Iran, it's from Israel.
Exactly. And I think this speaks to the broader issue. Who is in charge of our policy in the Middle East? Who is in charge of when we decide to go to war or not? In this case, with what the Secretary described, and later on the President, later on the Speaker of the House, and the way the events played out, the Israelis drove the decision to take this action, which we knew would set off a series of events. Meaning,
the series of events, meaning the war that we are currently in right now. Now, I want to stop for 1 second. I'm going to play the rest of this. We got about maybe 30 seconds of this. Tonight's show, guys, what's happening with Joe Kent right now, I'm going to call it right now. I mean, I know I've heard rumblings about it. And I want to be very clear. None of us have, for the most part, other than the people that we hear right now. You got Tulsi Gabbard having to sit down. Well, not right this second, but earlier today. We're getting questions and answers from people that are vetted, that are in the positions that have the information. No one would have more of the information on counterterrorism than the head of counterterrorism. And in the process, we're seeing a split happen. We're seeing a split between people say things like, oh, he's paid off by Qatar. They say the same thing about Tucker Carlson, right? You're seeing a split of people that are kind of neocon, not even kind of. They want forever wars. They have military industrial complex financial interests, right? They have their own geopolitical or philosophical or even religious agenda. But the person that heads this counterterrorism unit is now about to be supposedly brought up, investigated by the FBI, meaning Joe Kent. None of this investigation was happening. They're saying, oh, the investigation predates his resignation. They're about to do the whole smear campaign on main man, all because they don't want us to acknowledge the fact that a lot of Americans do not want this Middle East war. So you're seeing this split between people, and both sides act like they have so much fucking information. Both sides do that, right? Tonight's show is just, I'm going to present the information, what the people that are vetted, that are either in position or have resigned, like Joe here has. Joe is done 11 deployments. Okay? Trump handpicked him. We're talking about people that are currently in certain positions, Tulsi Gabbard. And I'm watching everybody on the right, or a lot of people, neocons and or pundits, just rush to this argument that anybody that's in opposition to this war is somehow anti-Semitic and this, that, and the third. Even his critique of, like I tell you all of the time, because he never says the Israeli government. He says the Israelis. I tell you all to say Israeli government. But nonetheless, he's saying the Israelis are influencing, da-da-da-da, woo-woo-woo. And I'm watching everybody circle the wagons around the same narrative. And there's people that I had respect for. Still have respect for them on other things, but not on this, because it's almost like a Chat GPT fucking prompt. I can tell that you wrote the shit with Chat GPT. All of y'all got the same script, and it's kind of disheartening. So tonight's show is going to be questions asked. I got a bunch of questions that I want everybody to chop it up with. Again, guys, when you get the information and perspective from tonight's show, the best thing that you can do, that I'm going to ask everybody to do, is to support our actual work. Support our actual work. Makes sense. All right? So let's play this last little bit, then we're going to move forward straight to the questions. But I want everybody to understand, tonight's show is about asking objective and nuanced questions, and I might nerd out a little bit at certain points. Y'all just reel me back in the comment section, in the chat, okay? Because I think there's legitimate takes and perspectives on both sides of this aisle. And you guys tap into the Maj 2 ratio. Y'all come listen to me. My job is to give y'all an objective take. Like I've said to y'all before, if this is just about power and energy and all of that, there's an argument to be made for this. And we got to be honest about we're saying, fuck the Constitution. If you're saying that, then say it, but don't pretend like it's something else. Anyway, let's play a little bit more. Let's get to these questions.
Meaning the Iranians would retaliate. Now, I think there's a potential there where we could have done several different things. We could have simply said to the Israelis, no, you will not. And if you do, then we will take something away from you. I think that it's fine that we offer defense to Israel. But when we're providing the means for their defense, we get to dictate the terms of when they go on the offensive. Otherwise, they stand to lose that relationship. And the Israelis felt emboldened that no matter what they did, no matter what situation they put us in, that they could go ahead and take this action, and we would just have to react.
I cannot.
That is a very balanced take, and I just got to keep it a buck about that. The take is balanced so far. The take is balanced. Okay. Now, the way that he's being packaged, right? The way that he's being packaged is almost like he's got this death to America. I'm fresh off of some Iranian money, and a lot of the pundits are packaging it like that. But instead of just me going back and forth about these folks, I want to present the information tonight, and we're going to have questions. Some of y'all that got answers and some questions that y'all pop up that y'all want to jump in on. I'm going to put in a little bit, I'm going to put the call-in line in. Y'all know the rules for the call-in. You got to put your face on the screen, though. You got to put your face to it. You can't be talking behind. We don't deal with the fake pages, okay? So these are the legitimate questions that we have to ask. So one of the first questions that I have is, because these are questions that just my notes, just my things that I'm noticing from social media and then my own thought process, right? First, how many United States soldier casualties are there? How many casualties are there? What's a real number of United States casualties? I've heard 13. I've heard 500. And now all of the coffins that are going to be brought back from overseas, now we find out that this is going to be private. They're not going to issue information about it. You know how normally when somebody gets killed, they fly him back and they do the drape, and then the president or the vice president goes and meets them at the air, whatever. Now they're going to not show it. We are literally at the hide the coffins phase of this war. That's an actual term, hide the coffins. Hide the coffins means you do not want the general public to know how many casualties there's actually already been. So that's the first question that I will ask. How many casualties has it already been? That's one. How many missiles are left to defend allies in the Middle East? How many? And anybody can jump in on this. Throw it in the chat. Bookworm said, I read something today they're going to stop showing. They are. This is not, listen, somebody like last week's set to the show said, this ain't like street beef. And that was the most wrong statement that somebody could have ever made to me. This shit is exactly like street beef. It's just more death. And nobody goes to jail for it, which means the death is incentivized financially. And if you've been convinced that you're fighting for the good and fighting for patriotism, just like certain people, the jihadis, believe that they're fighting for God and their Allah and whatever. When you've convinced yourself to look into the mirror that it's not murder, you're fighting for a righteous cause, you go do more murder. If you ever had friends that have killed people before and they on the run, right? and then they become like paid for hire killers. Like 50 Cent said, you get the same shit for one body, you give for 10 bodies, you give for one, cuz. So it's the same concept. So we got to start asking these questions, because otherwise it's just arguing. I think I'm right. I think I'm right. And that's what tonight's show is going to be. How many missiles left do we have to defend our allies in the Middle East? I'm not hearing too many conversations about logistics, right? We are 16, 17, 18 days in, let's say 2 to 3 weeks. We spending, I think we had like 20 some odd $billion. Okay. We had whatever amount of money that could have went to other things. And I got some of those numbers up here tonight. But we're not having conversations about what are the logistics of the situation. If the United States is there and Iran has had, I don't know how many decades to stockpile missiles, Iran has missile bases that come out of the sand in the desert that you can't see. But let's say 30 years to round it off. Let's say 25. 25 years of stockpiling missiles. And the United States government, in conjunction with the media, has said they got so many missiles. The question becomes, how many missiles are left to defend our Middle Eastern allies? And I feel like nobody's asking that question. What are the options on the table at this point? Because it looks to me like Trump is floating around the idea of maybe not being so bullish on this, right? We saw him post up on Truth Social after asking other nations in the area, France said no, to send ships to the Strait of Hormuz. And pretty much everybody said no. You know who said yes? Y'all gonna laugh at this shit. Argentina. Javier Milei, the libertarian, said, yeah, I'll send some ships over there. Argentina hasn't been in a fucking skirmish in the Navy since like 1987 or some shit. I'm not being facetious either. Like, it's been decades, right? So what options are on the table? You've asked people, allies, to get involved in this. And in the process of them saying, no, thank you, or we're weighing it out, there's other ramifications to this shit. So what other options does the United States government have? Fall back? Go nuclear? Because this looks like past the point of fucking de-escalation. I think people's egos are involved in the shit. What are the other options? What options are legitimately on the table here? Nukes, invasion, war with fucking Russia? Because the intel is saying Russia and China are giving satellite images to Iran to let them know what America's doing. The conversation the whole time has been, we're in a proxy war with China, which I believe. But y'all need to be honest and say that. We're in a proxy war and we're going to do some gangster shit for energy dominance. Because y'all blocked off fucking China in the Panama Canal. Okay? Now, again, y'all, ride with me. Ride with me. Blocked off China for the Panama Canal. Made the Venezuela move for the oil. Talking about Greenland to a certain extent to block them from coming that way. China gets a lot of oil coming through that Strait of Hormuz. We control that. Maybe we get our allies to control it. Maybe that's Trump's move. But if don't nobody help out, and if we fall back, then it's like, oh, we good now. So what actual options are there? Are we going nuclear? As we're saying, Iran is the problem with going nuclear. Are we going war with Russia? Even go back. Let's even a simpler fucking question. Who genuinely knows if the war is going poorly or great? I think it's going not so good. I think they wanted to get in, smack them. It was supposed to be a smash and grab. But when you have a nation, it's not fucking Afghanistan, guys. And Afghanistan took you 20 some odd years. Okay? You got the IRGC, you got the Beige, it's a lot going on. Okay? That being the case, they had decades to prepare for this shit. You're hiding the coffins. You thought this was going to be a smash up, bang up job. It doesn't look like it. So to me, I think it's going poorly. That does not mean that we're saying we want America to lose, because I'm not that person. Let's be very fucking clear. Because I believe if we're just honest about our gangster ambitions and saying we just taking this shit for energy dominance, I actually think you get more Americans to buy in. Agent says they pulling the defensive weapons from Taiwan to bring to the Middle East. Maybe some hypersonic shits. Who in the chat thinks the war is going good or bad for the United States government? Let me know. These are legitimate questions, guys. Who genuinely believes this was the Israeli government lying and manipulating the Trump, as Joe just said here? Who believes that? Because it seems to me very, very smart people, not paid talking heads, not people that's trying to get back in the good graces of the Neocon movement, not people that's trying to keep their fucking relationship at Mar-a-Lago even after the Trump administration. Not sycophants, really smart people like Brett. I know Brett. I've done panels with Brett. Here's what Brett Weinstein has to say about it. All right?
I remember when we weren't exactly welcomed as liberators in Iraq, right?
Yep.
We were told we would be.
Mm-hmm.
And we weren't. And we got 500,000 to 1 million Iraqis killed over a fairy tale, over the existence of weapons.
I'm old enough to remember when Saddam had nukes, weapons of mass destruction.
Right, absolutely. Of course he had them. I mean, Colin Powell told me so. He had some pretty cool animations at the UN.
And yeah, it was a big part of that sales pitch.
Of course, because there is this neocon contingent that has, I think they're all secular. I don't think these are believers, but they have a religious commitment to some frickin' PowerPoint presentation in which they told themselves how they were going to remake the world and it was going to be in their interests and, oh, by the way, everybody else's. Yeah. And these people have proven, their track record tells us they don't know anything. And yet here we are in 2026 returning to their agenda. You know, just so happens to be that the country that they most wanted to go after, the most terrifying of them all, we're now attacking it without apparently any plan for what to do next. That's madness.
Right.
It is madness. However, I'm going to be open. I'm going to be real open with y'all. All right? R. Vogue says, the Iran move was good to ensure the petrodollar. Iran, China, and Russia were in the process of developing BRICS. Paying the United States shut it down. BRICS is still going smooth, bro. BRICS is still going smooth. And you're fighting too many wars on different fronts at different times. But I guess that's the answer to the question. Who genuinely believes this is going good? R. Vogue says petrodollar argument. How? If the dollar's getting weakened, even the petrodollar, it's lost 96% of its fucking power. Like, what are we doing? So very, very smart people with memories, not the stretch of goldfish, 7 seconds. Remember the evildoers. They got weapons of mass. They run in the same play. But I'm going to be objective because I am of the belief that I'm going to give government more credit. Not because I think they're super smart. I think I'm going to give them more credit for we just doing gangster shit for energy. For energy. You got superconductors in Taiwan, all of the processing shit. China trying to take that. China has I want to talk to y'all real briefly. I want to talk to y'all real briefly in my brains. Let me nerd out a little bit, y'all. Okay? China is in no way, shape, or form looking bad out of this. And if we're saying that this is a proxy war with China, and we're going to get back to the questions, y'all. Guys, givesendgo.com/solutionary. Support the work. Support the work. Support the work. You can put this on audio. Open up another tab. Let's get everybody in the chat to donate $10 tonight. Support our actual work. I get it. We tap in to have these conversations, but we got to do work too, guys. It's close to 200 of y'all in the chat already. If 200 people donate $10, y'all get the math, all right? So here's the thing about China. Are they kind of like agrarian and like, you know, Not for a lot of it, yeah. Is China made to sometimes be the boogeyman too? Yeah, just like Russia, meaning from American media. But at the same time, they are playing this shit real strategic, and I don't see no losses for China right now. Here's the beauty of China, okay? China just started draining its commercial oil reserves at up to 1 million barrels per day, okay? What does that mean? That means they can sustain refinery operations for 4 to 6 weeks at current rates. That just means for 4 to 6 weeks, we can rotate this. We'll figure something else out after 4 to 6 weeks. But for right now, we good. That means their strategic petroleum reserve has not fucking been touched, which is like 900 million barrels. Okay? That's 3 months of import cover. All of that shit sitting in tank farms and fucking caves, all across like 10 or 11 sites. China been expanding this shit since like forever for the like 2025 to 2030 plan. Okay? With another 169 million barrels of new capacity not touched. That's where China is sitting based on this oil situation. And the beauty of that is that gives a good signal to not only just China saying, we got this, we cool, we don't know about anybody else, but it actually is stabilizing global oil markets right now. Let me make this example real quick for y'all. The price of oil and petroleum has gone up, and that's to a certain extent what's going to impact your gas prices at the gas pump, right? But also, if China's cool, right? China signals to the rest of the world that this is doable. This is manageable. We good. And then the markets reply to that. All right? So in essence, with this move that China's doing with the oil, they spending a checking account to protect their savings account. All right? So if they got their commercial reserves at like 1.4 billion barrels, and that's getting drawn first, which is cheaper to replace, I could justify that politically. I could keep a bridge of a 4 to 6 week window without fucking with national security and China protocols. That says a lot to the market and the world, even if it's just for we straight as China, we don't know about nobody else. But China imports a whole lot of fucking oil. So if we're talking about a proxy war with China, and China sitting pretty out this motherfucker, we reaching out to people that we said we don't need, and I say we, I mean the United States government. I don't got shit to do with it. I'm a high school dropout just trying to pick up the pieces and understand shit and read a little bit. That's what I'm doing. All right? But if China's picking up the pieces and that's how they looking, right? They got rare earth minerals that they can shut down supply to, which to me is another reason why I say, okay, if we just going gangster, just say go gangster. But if you're saying you're going gangster for the Strait of Hormuz, you can't get no support. You're not stopping China's getting shit from, come on, bro. Russia. They're getting premium prices. It's a drought for everybody else, which I know my supplier is a little fucked. We could go different routes, which is what's happening. So all of this is happening. We saying this is a proxy war with China because that's a valid argument. Anybody that's saying it's not a valid argument, come on, bro. That's a valid argument. It's a proxy war. Okay, cool. I can take that. But you got to sell that to the American people a certain way. So if we saying that this is something that the Israeli government kind of got us into, all of the generals said, do not do this. It's also a potential proxy war with China, and China living large off the shit, while you look a little bit weaker because you thought it was going to be another smash and grab. This shit ain't Venezuela. You didn't go snatch Maduro. This is a different thing. The terrain is different. The distance is different. All of the generals have said this could impact global fucking economy. And it's you can't get in there without a ground game. And that means you're going to sacrifice a hell of a lot of soldiers if you go ground game. So when you factor all of that, maybe it's just the Jews, like some people are saying, controlling them. And I don't think that Joe Kent is saying that. I'm saying the Israeli government is leaning people into certain reasons for certain situations. But now what's our options? Which means to me, back to some of the questions, do we genuinely believe this was the Israeli government lying and manipulating Trump? Or was it also Trump going, I could get in there and bang him and then we can control his energy supply, and you underestimated it. You underestimated because you thought they was a paper tiger. Johnny Spade says, control the oil, control the world, and how the world is changing with minerals. Agreed. But you still got to quantify that to the general public. Or don't. And keep getting pushback. And keep looking contradictory. And keep losing actual support. Keep losing actual support. Because again, all of the smart people are going, not sure about that one, champ. Then you got people that are smart that are playing it very political. This is Tulsi Gabbard, who is, I don't know who disappeared off the scene for a long time faster and longer. If Kamala Harris, when she was vice president, we ain't hear shit from Kamala for like 2 years. I ain't heard shit from Tulsi Gabbard damn near since she got in office in this position in the cabinet. This is her talking point. Donald Trump was overwhelmingly elected by the American people to be our president and commander-in-chief. As our commander-in-chief, he's responsible for determining what is and what is not an imminent threat. Stop right there. Before I finish this politically correct, politically ambiguous, save my ass, corporate CYA, cover your ass statement, before I even finish reading the rest of that part right there is wrong. Donald Trump is not the only person responsible for determining what is and what is not an imminent threat. That's why you have a fucking cabinet. That's why you have a Joe Kent, somebody that's been in the area, 11 deployments. His wife got blown the fuck up by ISIS. But now we all acting like he's the terrorist himself. That's why Trump elected him to, or delegated for him to be in that position as counterterrorism. So when Tulsi Gabbard, in the middle of this politically correct gobbledygook, says, oh nah, Trump and Trump alone, that's kiss the ring shit. We don't need that. And I get it, because Trump's only going to be here for 2 more years. You got to look like you loyal to the soil to advance your political career after this fucking administration. But that's not true. He's responsible for determining what is and is what is not an imminent threat, and whether or not to take action he deems necessary to protect the safety and security of our troops, the American people in our country. That part of the statement is correct. He is the person that makes the action, but he is not the only person with credible intel that can make that assessment. The officer, the Director of National Intelligence, is responsible for helping coordinate and integrate all intelligence to provide the President and Commander-in-Chief with the best information available to inform his decisions. After carefully reviewing all of the information before him, President Trump concluded that the terrorist Islamist regime in Iran posed an imminent threat, and he took action based on that conclusion. Now, this was March the 17th, yesterday. Today, it's a different conversation for Ms. Gabbard. It's a different conversation for Ms. Gabbard today. And I'm going to find it. Okay? I got it up here. I just got to pull up which joint it's in. Okay? Not only is she saying things that are... Let's go back. I got a few from Ms. Gabbard. Let's go to this real quick. This was in Tulsi Gabbard in 2025.
The old Washington way of thinking is something we hope is in the rearview mirror and something that has held us back for too long. For decades, our foreign policy has been trapped in a counterproductive and endless cycle of regime change or nation building. It was a one-size-fits-all approach of toppling regimes, trying to impose our system of governance on others, intervene in conflicts that were barely understood, and walk away with more enemies than allies. The results: trillions spent, countless lives lost, and in many cases, a creation of greater security threats. The rise of Islamist terrorist groups like ISIS.
Which the United States funded.
President Trump was elected by the American people to put an end to this. And from day one, he has showed a very different way to conduct foreign policy.
And it has not been a different way in foreign policy in Iran. Generals, countless generals told them, do not do this. It just seems like this whole fucking team has did a 1,000% 180 on this. I want to play one more by Miss Gabbard. Okay? Again, the first post was her being very politically correct. That was a few days ago. Okay? The video that you just saw was a while back in 2025. So from there, Donald Trump was put in position to not do X, Y, and Z. He did X, Y, and Z. And so today when she was asked questions, let's see what the questions were and let's see what she said.
For providing national intelligence to the president, correct?
Yes.
And to the heads of executive branch departments and agencies, yes?
Yes.
And to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs and senior military commanders?
Across the IC, yes.
And to the Senate and the House and relevant committees, correct?
Yes.
And the law states that the national intelligence you provide to Congress, quote, should be timely, objective, and independent of political considerations, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
And you noted in your opening statement you're here fulfilling a statutory responsibility and that your testimony, quote, represents the IC's assessment of threats,
That's right.
correct? That opening statement, as submitted to the committee in advance of this hearing, stated that as
Real quick, y'all, for those that don't know, IC is intelligence community. I'm going to go back some more. I got to make sure that everybody that's tapping in, that y'all fuck with me. I'm going to make sure that some of these terminologies, just like a gun class, some of the terminology, some of the languaging, some of the context, my job is to pause it real quick. I'll always run it back a little bit because I don't want nobody that's from a hood or doesn't have an understanding of this, that if you're not a political animal, you might not know some of these terms. And you ain't even got to be a political animal. You're just not caught up in CNN Fox arguing all of the time. You might come here to get a different perspective, but I want you to make sure you learn some of this nomenclature and languaging too. Very important. All right, so I'll pause here and there. And don't be afraid, nobody in the chat, don't be afraid to say, yo, Maj, what that shit mean? We here to learn, share, and teach and push each other. All right?
assessment of threats,
That's right.
correct? That opening statement, as submitted to the committee in advance of this hearing, stated that as a result of last summer's airstrikes, quote, Iran's nuclear enrichment program was obliterated, end quote, correct?
That's right.
And is that in
So y'all heard me yelling for all last week. I was like, I thought y'all just said in last June, y'all blew up all of their nuclear creation facilities.
fact the assessment of the intelligence community?
Yes.
So the assessment of the intelligence community is that Iran's nuclear enrichment program was obliterated by last summer's airstrikes.
Yes.
In the opening statement you submitted to the committee last night also stated, quote, there has been no effort since then to try to rebuild their enrichment capability, end quote, correct?
That's right.
And that's the assessment of the intelligence community.
Yes.
The White House stated on March 1st of this year that this war was launched and was, quote, a military campaign to eliminate the imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime, end quote.
Imminent.
That's a statement from the White House. Quote, the imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime. Was it the assessment of the intelligence community that there was an imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime?
The intelligence community assessed that Iran maintained the intention to rebuild.
Iran maintained the intention. This is where she's trying to not get caught up in the bullshit storm that she sees coming. Y'all said in June when y'all called the Americans that was like, we shouldn't go to war with Iran. And y'all said, y'all panicking. Y'all panicking. Just trust Trump like he's your fucking dad. Meat gobblers. Right? Y'all swooped in. Y'all said, boom, we're going to Fort Owl. We're going boom, boom, boom. We destroyed it. We got in, we got out. Y'all gave each other a high five. You did the meme. You bit the gold. You threw the champagne. You did all of that. That's what your intelligence said. That's what justified the bombing. But then fast forward to March. Now you like, oh, they could make nukes again. Now when he kind of lining her up for that, instead of her just going, that's correct, that's correct, that's correct. Now she about to, it was the intelligence community's understanding that Iran had the intention. What the fuck you mean intention? They had the intention of rebuilding their nuclear shit. So now we going off motherfuckers' feelings? Let's play it again.
Imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime.
The intelligence community assessed that Iran maintained the intention to rebuild and to continue to grow their nuclear enrichment capability.
Was it the assessment of the intelligence community that there was a, quote, imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime, yes or no?
Senator, the only person who can determine what is and is not an imminent threat is the president.
False.
And
This
he
is the
made that
worldwide
determination.
Exactly.
threats hearing where you present to Congress national intelligence, timely, objective, and independent of political considerations. You've stated today that the intelligence community's assessment is that Iran's nuclear enrichment program was obliterated and that, quote, there had been no efforts since then to try to rebuild their enrichment capability. Was it the intelligence community's assessment that nevertheless, despite this obliteration, there was a, quote, imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime? Yes or no?
It is not the intelligence community's responsibility to determine what is and is not an imminent threat.
Okay.
That is.
Yes, it is. That's why there's a cabinet. Y'all see what I'm saying here? You see the bullshit? He won't let her wiggle out. And a lot of times women will wiggle out, man. She can't go emotional, so she can't win there. Right? But you see, she's trying, oh, it's not the intelligent. By making a statement like that, you can all say, well, my understanding was that the commander-in-chief is the person that makes that decision. And you're right. They are the person that makes the decision. But that decision is based on the intelligence that they get from the intelligence community. Listen, y'all, you tap into the show, I'm going to tell y'all the truth. They want y'all to think that this shit is more complicated than it is. It might be nuanced, but it's not as complicated as they're trying to package it to be. You guys, either for the Israeli government and or financial interest or gangster reasons, we want to control the airspace and energy. We in a proxy war with China. Y'all got to communicate it better then. I personally believe if they would have told her, look, we're going over here to take shit, or we're going to do better trade and negotiation. Never mind the fact that Iran, y'all were at the table with Iran. Y'all just kept moving the goalposts saying, oh, they might have a nuclear weapon. Then when you blew the joint up, it was like, oh, their intent is to kind of maybe think about having some more nuclear weapons. At the table of negotiation, y'all went from, you can't have a nuclear weapon. And they go, cool, we don't want a nuclear weapon. We don't want a nuclear weapon, meaning Iran. Then outside interests that really want that war and to topple Iran says, well, they might actually have enrichment capabilities. Well, you can enrich nuclear materials and not be for a weapon. So then they keep going, well, you know why they're trying to enrich it. They're trying to enrich it because they want to make a nuclear war, because that's what it leads to. There's an outside force telling you that when you got the person sitting at the table saying, nah, we have no interest in doing that. And then media says, well, they were saying death to America. Never mind the fact that America, the reason why the fucking shot, you overthrew that shit. I'm telling y'all, they trying to make that shit seem more complicated. It's always financial interests. Duh. Power interests. Duh. Right? But is that the Israeli government? Or is that the United States government making it look like Israel is the puppeteer to a certain extent to get their interest off? And now you're in this precarious quagmire. But now you got your team sitting in front of Congress because you guys have not been honest and forthcoming about a thing. You're not communicating this shit well. And everybody, my high school dropout ass goes, I thought y'all just said last summer. Last summer, I was tanning. And I remember y'all saying, yeah, we blew this joint up. We got him. We got in and we got out. Oh, all right, cool. Well, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was a panicking. Come to find out, no, y'all was just lying all over again. They're trying to make it seem like it's more complicated than it is, guys. And when y'all tap into my show, my job is to give you the breakdown so you can see the cat for what it is. So we go back to the question. Who genuinely believes this was the Israeli government lying and manipulating Trump? I think it was everybody manipulating everybody. I think Trump's ego of, I want to get in there, smash him hard, hit him hard. They've never seen anything like the American military. Yeah, but you in the hot gates. That straight is a different thing. The government, the military of Iran is just weak. It's not weak. It's limited, but it's not. It can't beat ours in a straight up fight. But the problem that you have is you will impact global economies. Okay? That's the reality. So now you got Tulsi up this joint. People calling her on her bullshit. Now she got to refer back to some bullshit ass statement that Stevie Wonder could see his cat. She looks contradictory. Everybody in this administration looks contradictory. Everybody. Everybody looks contradictory. Speaking of fucking contradictions, what's old Pete got to say in November the 7th of 2024 about this situation, about going into the Middle East? Because he seems to be super fucking gung-ho. He's the biggest cheerleader. What was Pete saying about it not too long ago?
I've been a recovering neocon for 6 years now. Like the foolishness with which we ricocheted around the world, intervening, think it was in our best interest, when really we just overturned the table and created something worse in almost every single scenario, has led to the hubris of the Pentagon is that they want to now tell other countries how to do counterinsurgency based on what we did in Iraq and Afghanistan. Like, are you kidding me? So you really have learned nothing. I've been a...
What are we talking about here, guys? What is happening? What is happening? Recovering Neocon, I guess he relapsed. That was in the end of 2024. November of 2024 to November 2025 is 1 year. So he got a year and 4 months, and you did a 100% 180? Guys, when you're so used to being secretive and doing empire shit, you don't want to acknowledge that you're doing empire shit when you campaigned on, we're going to do constitutional republic shit. Trump's golden ticket of his first term, because he wasn't good on the Second Amendment. He wasn't. That's Mr. Bumpstop. He wasn't good on spending. He argued how the Democrats are the worst. Just like the left goes, Trump is the worst. His golden ticket for term one was, I didn't get you in no new wars. I'm going to cut the spending. Joe was spending a bunch of money in Ukraine. They don't want to talk about that now, because just like y'all was meat gobbling for the left was meat gobbling for Ukraine, y'all meat gobbling for this Iran situation. So your whole saving grace was Joe, stupid, sleepy Biden. He used them talking points now, but don't hit the same, champ. Because you're doing the same shit. Now, every single person that got into this administration has made the same fucking 180. So I don't think it's just the Israeli government. I think they play a major part in it. But I do think it's the arrogance and the financial interests. I think Jared Kushner being in somebody's fucking ear. I think Israeli government officials going straight to the politicians saying, yo, we got something coming down the pike. Watch out for this. It ain't getting to the intelligence community yet, but just, my man, state, then you like, what's your source? Trust me, bro. Lahain. Like, what the fuck? This entire administration is like back-to-back contradictions. Back-to-back. Fucking Drake. Going back-to-back. I'm going back-to-back. Meanwhile, y'all got us out here agreeing with Bernie Sanders. Never mind Bernie Sanders' contradiction. Bernie Sanders was cool to send all of the money to Ukraine. So let me be very clear. This ain't me on some hero worship of, I ain't a Bernie bro at all. But now we got Bernie Sanders looking like a genius. Same thing I said about goofball ass Matt Walsh, goofball ass Nick Fuentes. It's so stupid on the right that even those guys are going, what are we doing here? And it looked like you agreeing with them. We are now, most of y'all are liberty-minded or conservative on my channel. All right? Everybody that's in the show, the chat tonight, agrees with what Bernie Sanders is saying. That y'all got us out here agreeing with socialists. I don't want to agree, even when socialists and communists are right. I don't want to agree with them. My objectivity dictates that I will if they right. But y'all got me out here agreeing, looking like a Bernie bro. Bernie says the war in Iran has already cost $22.8 billion. Guys, it hasn't been 3 weeks. They spent about a little over $1 billion a day. For $22.8 billion, we could provide Medicaid to 6.8 million children, build 2.6 million public housing units, fund Head Start for 1.3 million, hire 240,000 teachers, cancel 20,000 in student debt for over 1 million borrowers. I'm not saying I agree with this approach by Bernie because, again, he's a fucking socialist. However, you got me agreeing with him in theory and in practice. And you know what I mean? Not necessarily where it's going. But again, you guys campaigned on the opposite. But let's go back to the logistics of it all. Guys, make sure everybody subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. Let's get the likes up, get the likes up, get the likes up. And guys, before we continue, support the work, guys. It's a couple hundred people in here. Everybody just donate $10. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. Every donor over $100, you get access to all of our online classes and modules. Lifetime. Transformative information. Do you know how I'm able to prattle this type of shit off my head? Because I pay attention to this stuff and I be thinking about it. And it's in conjunction with stuff that I'm already aligned with. That's why we have a Civics and Liberty class. That's why we have an Understanding Imminent Threat class. You have access to all of these classes by being a donor, helping our actual work. If you're a donor at the $100 level, you get access to all of the classes. So guys, if you can't give it the $100 level, fine, that's cool. Everybody in the joint is $10 admission. I'm giving you all a lot of energy, a lot of information, a lot of talking points that I want you guys to use. So the admission to that is $10. Everybody just go pitch in $10 over at GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. Our free firearms classes happen for the last 10 years because of your voluntary donations. And there's only, if you want to be a $100 donor to get access to all of those classes, there's only 189 more spots available for that. So please, guys, go over and support the work. So we're going back to Bernie, right? Since we're talking about cost and math, since Bernie want to get real, this is what we could do with the money. It's always a socialist telling somebody what somebody could do with somebody else's money. But anyway, let's go back to the math of it all. How many Interceptor missiles y'all think we got for our Middle Eastern allies? What's the stash? You think we depleted? You think we got a whole lot of them? If those run out, right? What's going to stop incoming missiles and drones to Israel, Jordan, Qatar, UAE, Saudi Arabia, our allies in that region? If we don't got no more interceptor missiles, because we was dealing with this since October the 7th, giving interceptor missiles over to Israel after October the 7th. Then we attacked them in June of last year. What happens if our allies in Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Israel, Jordan, what happens if we can't defend them anymore with any more interceptor missiles? Because Iran got fucking missiles. Tell me where I'm wrong in the chat. Then the next question becomes, and I ain't hearing a lot of answers. I want y'all to tell me what's up in the chat. Type it real quick if y'all want to, you know what I mean? If you want to do it fast. Does the enemy, and I say enemy because we are at war, okay? The questions that I'm asking, right? Y'all think the enemy knows how many interceptor missiles we got? I think we could be low. That's just me. That's just me. It's just me. I just be reading a lot. I could be wrong. I've never served in the military. I just be paying attention to everything military. You think the enemy knows whether or not the interceptor missiles is like? What's they stash like? What's they stash like? Laser system. Israel now has its laser missile defense. Okay, cool. That's fair. What's Iran's stash like? Israel now, listen to what R. Roger says. Israel now has its laser missile defense. LOL. Okay? What's they stash like? Do everybody know? So it's like, if America can't protect allies in the region, what country is going to suffer? What happens? These are legitimate questions that we should ask. I'm out here killing myself, doing all of the work for our community center. The best we could try to make sure we're doing is asking these legitimate questions before we just jump on whatever side. I'm not saying that every side is absolutely right or every side is absolutely wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. As John says, they have more offensive missiles than we do defensive missiles. They live for offensive. Scotty Ellison says, in the house, I just saw a clip with Fox News saying Joe Ken is being investigated by the FBI. We knew it was coming for leaking classified documents. Sounds Israeli to me. Sorry to interrupt, but that's the big news. I ain't going to say it sounds Israeli. I'm going to say it sounds Israeli government. I'm going to say it sounds Israeli government. Okay? So let's go with that before we keep asking a few more questions. Guys. Okay? If that's the case, so right before he resigned, he still had his position. As you guys knew, I'm willing to bet they're going to say the investigation was before his resignation. I bet dollars to donuts that that's what they're going to say. But if that's the case, how does he have the fucking job? How does he have the job? Oh, we keep leakers. We just keep them. Come on, y'all. But again, going back, if America can't protect their allies in the region, what countries to suffer? I'm of the belief that Israel suffers. That's just me. Well, Israel will suffer later if America pulls out. But like, what the fuck? In the meantime, if America's not out and if there's fighting and all of those regions and it's tied back to Israel, Israel's fucked. So do we now? Don't call me. The Jews didn't pay me. I wish that somebody want to give me $800 million. Please give it to me. I definitely fucking could use it right now. All right. So no, nobody's fucking paid me. I'm doing all types of strange shit for change right now. Okay. My point in saying this is from a perspective of, since the Jewish, everybody thinks the Jews are so super smart, you don't think the Jews would think about this, or the Israeli government? That puts them kind of in a little bit of a fucking box, in my opinion. We got to ask these questions, because otherwise, if we can't make these assessments, right, we can't evaluate this from an objective perspective. You got to keep a calm head. You got to keep a fucking, when the pressure's on, you got to fucking stay calm. You got to get low. You got to think, okay? So you don't think that the Israeli government or the Israelis thought about this? Maybe, because that's who, in my opinion, would suffer in that situation. That's my view. But let's go to some more questions. What's the guy's name? The supreme leader over there. He's a Khomeini. They're all a fucking Khomeini. It's like in Philly. Everybody's fucking named Raheem, Shaheem. Fucking every one of them is a Khomeini, right? Something Khomeini in my head. But nonetheless, right? Mojaba, some shit like that. I can't pronounce it. Is he dead? Is he alive? Because that changes things. I want y'all to really legit ask different questions. Okay? If he's dead, does that harden the regime to not go back to a negotiation table? If he's alive, where the fuck is he? Instead of just arguing with other libertarians and conservatives, I don't fucking argue. I've committed myself to not arguing. I get sleepy and fucking tired and all of that shit. I'm in a fucking stern right now. I'm fighting. I don't have time to argue. I don't want us to argue. I'm watching whenever I pick up a phone or get close to an internet and I look at shit and I go, it seems like everybody's fucking arguing. I want everybody to just stop and chill for 1 second and figure out how we can get out of this shit. To me, this shit is a spiritual lesson for my own fucking life. But when you stop and go, okay, if their supreme leader's not dead, not the one that's clearly dead, not the one that they fucking moped like and mopped, not him. If he's not there, where is he? Who's hiding him? And if the American government is so smart, and if they know who's hiding him, because Trump got on television and said, we know where all the sleeper cells is, which I think was absolute bullshit. You don't know where the fucking sleeper cells are, bro. If you knew what sleeper cells is, why the fuck you didn't have ICE go get them? Instead of going to fucking Chicago. Like, stop. But I get it. You got to do the, like, show of power shit. Whatever. If you do know where the guy is, why don't you Maduro his ass and use him as a bargaining chip? What stops the United States government from going to go snatch him? Y'all snatched Maduro. Y'all killed the motherfucking Mexican guy, the cartel dude. You snatched Maduro's wife. What stops the U.S. government from kidnapping him? Where is he? These are things that you got to think about with a clear mind instead of just getting upset and going back and forth with motherfuckers on, like, that doesn't advance the shit. Ask fucking legitimate questions. Is fucking BB dead? I'm tired of seeing Netanyahu six-finger memes and shit. Is Netanyahu dead? So we did the supreme leader, the Khomeini, right? Is Netanyahu dead? And if Netanyahu's dead, you definitely, after you've killed their supreme leader, they are true believers, bro. You killed their supreme leader. They got to re-up on a supreme leader. Then you killed that next wave, which I believe, to me, if you kill the top guy, you might get the second guy to negotiate. If the second team negotiates, and if you got outsiders that don't want an actual fucking negotiation, you kill them too. And from my understanding, the first two waves of the top dudes over there, 50 of their top people got knocked the fuck off, which makes me go, that's not accidental, because I thought the goal was to try to get them to come back to the negotiating table. Are we deliberately trying to escalate the shit? That's just my thought. But anyway, after you swipe the first string and the fucking second string, and their guy is in hiding potentially, because I don't know where he is. That's why we asking questions tonight. I don't know where he is. So he shows up somewhere. You don't. Okay, cool. Now let's go to Bibi. Netanyahu. If Netanyahu's dead, their supreme leader is is still alive. You think that they're going to like now go back to the negotiating table? In what world if they true believers? If Bibi's alive, where the fuck is he? If Iran finds out that the great Satan puppeteer, Bibi, that's what they call him, not me. I'm just saying what they say. If they found out that we killed him, I don't think you get them to like surrender or have a negotiation. What are our options? Meaning Americans. What are our options at this point, guys? What are our options? Are we in this for too long? Did we overplay our hand? And I say our because I live in America. I am not military. I've never served in the military. I'm fighting a whole different war right now. Like, if y'all only fucking knew. Nonetheless, at what point are we in this for too long? Did we assume that this was going to be just like Venezuela? We're going to get in, we're going to bang them around. I heard Hegseth say that shit. You wouldn't need more than 20,000 to take. I'm like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? You ever I'm not dissing Hegseth. I'm not dissing anybody. I don't want no beef with nobody. I want to be peaceful and as zen as possible right now. Okay? Clear and level-headed. Okay? It's outside is chaos. We got to keep calm here. My point is, I have questions about some of the things that Hegseth said, and if these people were in the president's ear and who is the commander-in-chief, maybe that's what Tulsi Gabbard meant. Yo, we can't really tell him nothing. He going to go with whatever decision he made, and he got the war powers resolution, so he going to go with it. Maybe. But if they got in his ear and gassed him up, and now we in it too long, what's our next point? What's our next move? You got terrain issues, like I said earlier. You got distance. You got lack of ground forces, which I'm hearing they about to send another 5,000. Outside of the 5,000 that's floating in the right off the shore type shit. You got the Iranian durability of their government. I think they play more of a factor than we might have anticipated. It's just what I think. But even outside of that, if we back to a proxy war, if the conversation we having a proxy war with China for real, how does this actually hurt China or Russia? If China and Russia allegedly are giving, and this is, I'm not in the fucking war room. I want to be very clear. Tonight's show is about us asking questions, fundraising, and getting back to actual work, guys. All right? If we're in a proxy war with China, and we haven't been on the best terms with fucking Russia since, we ain't gonna go too far back to fucking Rocky and Drago, right? But with the Biden administration and Russia, with the whole Ukraine shit, okay? How does this bode well for us? Because I don't see the sanctions didn't fucking hurt Russia since Obama, fuck, might as well, since Biden was in office. Sanctions didn't fuck them up. How does this bode well for China? China's sitting pretty from every angle that I'm looking at. So if we're in a proxy war, damn near, with both of these nations, how the fuck does this look great for us? I think this is even the playing field for China. Any like discrepancies that China may have with agrarian shit and all of that. I think this is like leveling the playing field. To me, what should the government do in this scenario? I want to hear from y'all in the chat. What should the United States government do in this situation? Should we forge ahead? Should we cease all combat operations? I saw something on Truth Social where Trump was looking like he was floating out there kind of like, well, maybe we fall back since y'all want to help us. Like, be clear. If them fucking battleships in America falls back out of that and decides to just do business like we fucking should have, y'all gotta hold your own weight over there. I don't really see the ultimate benefit. I know y'all like, oh, you gotta have allies, NATO and that, blah 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 blah. I don't see the benefit, especially if it's littered with, yo, it doesn't fucking, it ain't getting us nothing. Okay, if it's not getting us nothing, why are we there? Why are we there? Everything is fucked up right now. I'm going to say something to y'all that's very, very personal and true. Everybody's fucked up right now. And a major part of this, because I don't want y'all to think I'm sitting on millions of fucking dollars. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Everything is fucked right now. Outside of the dollar getting weaker and all of this other shit, and it's tight. And everybody got pulled. You got tighten your belt. You got to get small to make room for it all. I'm telling y'all, as y'all 1000%, I'm telling y'all, we all doing it. So I'm not trying to place myself above y'all or none of that shit. What I am saying is, a big part of that is because of this type of shit. If you're just talking about gas prices, bro, that plays a part. Petroleum and oil is everything. So we start to go like, you might have thought the win was the win. It's not a fucking win. It's a drain. It's like, and then everybody feels that pinch. Every single person that is going to watch this show tonight is 1000% at least. Y'all might disagree that I'm asking questions that make the United States government look a little fucked right now. I'd rather call the government out more so than my people, like the American people. I'm not a fucked up person. I am a person that goes, nah, bro, we might have to pull back a bit. Okay? You guys are impacted. Everybody's impacted by this shit for these reasons. So in my mind, I go, cease all fucking operations. Shut it down. Get small. Make room for it all. This is what you campaigned on. Because otherwise, right? They got a gang of missiles. We all clear on that. I'm not shitting on the might of the military of the United States government. America, we do this violent shit. But it got to be violence. They can't fight us in a straight up head to head, but they don't have to. And you already was kind of tariffing everybody else, meaning this administration. So what reason you think Macron and them motherfuckers is like your best friend right now? No. The only people that agreed to send boats was fucking Argentina, the libertarian. Javier Milei was like, I'll send some fucking boats. I'll send some fucking boats. Them motherfuckers, they down the street from us. They literally, I think it might have been like 1982 or 87. They haven't been in no smoke with a Navy. And that's because Javier Milei likes Trump, right? And he has 1000% has, not to sound funny, not to be rude, Milei went over to, he touched the wall. He touched the wall a little bit. I like Milei, libertarian and all of that, but he touched the wall. So that's like a political thing, right? The Argentinian Navy is like in Harlem Nights when the one dude after they were shooting and the one dude shot the pea shooter. That's what it's just a symbolic gesture. You know what I'm saying? But outside of you dipping up out of this shit and the global economy really getting pressed, right? If you do not pull out of this shit, are we okay with an escalation into a legitimate new world war? Or do we just stop now? Because what I saw Trump floating on that Truth Social post, was maybe we just let y'all handle it. And I'm not mad at that. Do we get a little bit of egg on our face as a country? Yeah. But right now, I don't see it. And when Trump is saying he should consider pulling his forces from the Strait of Hormuz, let the countries that use it be responsible, no free ride shit, I go, you authorized $16.5 billion military campaign to secure this thing. Now you kind of saying like, I'm going to dip out 2-3 weeks later. It could be looked at like a solid negotiation position about global energy and all of that. But that's still left up to too much interpretation. The market's got to read that shit. You know what I'm saying? And people get uneasy when they can't read shit. If he don't really mean I'm gonna pull out, right? Pause. It's kind of like leverage to get those other people that kind of like really not moving fast enough to move a little faster and get involved. But they not involved now. So it could be a stalemate. I just, if those countries publicly start to question if the United States is going to absolutely pull out of this situation, and he's and us saying kind of like, is their energy security worth our ships, money, time, resources, and lives? I don't think it is. I'm telling y'all, I am a fan of, fall back. Get to fucking work. The only reason why I do these shows with y'all is because I got to keep communicating these things to y'all, right? But like, I wouldn't, like, there's too much infighting. And so I'm like trying to at least be one voice of reason. But for the most part, during the most part of my day, I'm outside doing other shit. Like trying to get other things popping because of this type of shit, because of the economy. So I'm a fan of fucking fall back. Just get it right. But going back and forth and all that, and it's the kind of like Trump now, it's kind of like gotta be in it. Like gotta go like, all right, let me see what's up. You know what I mean? But they're asking this question like, is he really like, is motherfuckers really gonna fall back off of this shit? That threat of withdrawal kind of like achieves something if possible. But if it's not taken serious, but if it is, let's say if it is, right? It showcases that our involvement there, or the United States government and its resources there, is conditional. And it fucking should be conditional. It should be fucking, our protection should be fucking conditional. There should be conditions with this. It's like the video that we started the show off tonight with. We not mad at helping our ally Israel. I'm not one of them people that's just, it's the Jews. They're like, come on, bro. We adults. I love that the fucking Jews sewed shit up. I wish my ass 10 years ago would have been sewing shit up like the Jews do. I'm get the fuck out of here, man. They communal. They get to that money. Some of this shit is questionable. I don't know about the ones with the fucking weird hats and shit, the super big wolf hats. I don't really know about that, right? The tunnels and shit. I'm not a fan of that, right? I am a fan of fucking motherfuckers like actually cooperative economics. Sometimes, man, and I fall victim to this too. Sometimes we fall back to try to get it right. So I'm not knocking anybody. All I'm saying is the conditions of protection, those conditions should be conditional, because otherwise Jared Kushner start pushing motherfuckers around. And American naval presence is the only force in the world that could like theoretically, like the mine sweeping, escorting, insurance, architecture, That solid open commercial transit can only be the United States military to that extent over time. And that we like, come on, bro. Argentina, like I like Javier Milei. I like Milei, but come on, bro. They can't really do shit for sure. Okay. China opening up military talks with the EU and NATO fucking next week. I said military talks too. I want y'all to be clear. This ain't like a diplomatic conversation. China, like next week sometime, I don't know, I can't remember the fucking date. But China's like talking with like the EU and NATO for military talks. Beijing is trying to like be everywhere that America not now. You understand? Military talks, not like, yo, we on a diplomatic mission. Nah. The same European nations that kind of like ignored Trump's like, yo, come through, send some ships. They're now going to talk to them about, hey, what's up next? The seat that y'all leave, China's going to go, whoop, whoop, right over here. China looking good. I'm sorry. I now know why Ray Dalio was meat gobbling China since I don't even know how long. If y'all don't know who Ray Dalio is, he wrote a fucking book called what's that shit called? Fuck. Oh, Principles. That's his first book, right? And he was China heavy. And I remember when I read that, I was like, damn, bro is like super on China. And he was, or I had seen him in passing, just watching certain shit. If y'all don't know, he created Bridgewater Capital, right? Which is this big hedge fund. So he know a lot of stuff, right? But he's super on China. And now I'm kind of like, I see why he was hesitant about, like, you know what I mean? Like being full, but he's kind of like a China dude. But China right now, based on what I'm seeing, and again, I am a high school dropout trying to make it out this joint, right? I'm trying to grind up to my next number. So I don't want nobody to take none of the shit that I'm saying right now. I'm not a person that's going to pretend like I got every fucking thing figured out. Tonight's show is about asking questions. And in asking these questions, China looked very fucking good right here. Like every part of this shit looks, you know what I mean? They getting premium price for something that the rest of the world kind of can't right now to that extent, to that same extent. Because the escalation ladder keep doing what it's doing. And as the escalation ladder is going up, we got to ask the question of, is the president who started this war, because as much as people want to say Israel started it, all of them, everybody in the cabinet's like, yo, Rubio was like, yo, we heard Israel was going to go first, so we drew first blood. Like, you let them pump fake you into a war. So that means y'all went first. So the president who started the war is now publicly considering whether to stay. That gives a certain level of, on one hand, some people could look at that as instability. Sometimes it could look like maybe he don't have the support. And I apologize, y'all, for going on this rant. I promise y'all I'll get to the super chats and all of that. But this shit is in my head, man. And I don't get to talk to people all day. Maybe he's recognizing he don't have the support he thought he was going to have. I don't know why he thought he was going to have that support after he kind of like shitted on everybody with the tariffs. And as much as everybody want to act like, oh, it's just politics. Nah, them dudes got egos too. Like, maybe he peeping he don't got the support and shouldn't have won it in the first place. But his ego kind of might be like, I can't really say it that way. But maybe he thinking about it more now, especially if other people, fucking Jared, who knows, put a battery in his back. Again, China is fucking draining commercial oil reserves. Not they replenishing their front stash. They super stash is still stashed. Okay? This ain't like regular. Their commercial reserves is at like 1.4 billion barrels. That's the commercial reserves that they're pulling from first. That's their checking account with oil. They haven't touched the savings. And y'all want me to kind of be mad at China? Look like China knew how to get small and make room for it all. To me, China looking very, very fucking, we got it. We cool. China's being very stoic about this shit. When they fuck up, we gonna go here. When they did it, we gonna go here. They complete like, again, it's like Russia during fucking Ukraine. You did not weaken their economy, bro. Oh, we gonna put sanction. Man, they figured out a way around that shit. They looking very fucking stoic. They like keeping their emergency buffered. You understand? Like they keeping their emergency buffered. Like for just in case some real shit happened. Like this ain't, like low key, they kind of like, this ain't real shit. I respect that. And then if Hormuz open back up tomorrow, like they just get right back into business. Right back to resuming the fucking imports. Right back to rebuilding their commercial stock in a couple of months. It will almost be like this shit never really happened for them. And the reason why the gas ain't stupid, in my opinion, is just because people is looking at China going like, oh, all right, well, shit. But let's say this play out for a couple of months. So it's April now, right? You might as well say it's March going on April. Let's say it rocked for another month. China's still kind of like whatever, but they got the 4 to 6 week joint. When really, they could just like keep getting their shit from Russia, speed that up. They could go from all of the places that's not in the fucking Gulf, or tap into their fucking stash. I don't know how that'll look though. I'm about bad, y'all. I know I'm geeking out and I'm thinking, but like that part might start to look like, oh shit. If China dipping into their reserves, they usually level-headed. I don't know. That might fuck something up a little bit. But they just kind of like managing shit right now. They just getting discount prices on the gas, right? That shit paid in like their money, yuan or whatever that shit is called. They got intelligence based on the rumor. They got intelligence on the Americans' weapons and systems and what they doing, and they feeding that information to fucking Iran. And they still getting volume over there. Everybody else is like rerouting, rationing, or drawing their reserves. China just kind of like doing all three while restricting the inputs that the other people need. So if we're in a fucking proxy war with China, and I'm sorry, y'all. I promise y'all, I'm gonna get off the oil shit. I'm gonna get off this shit, right? Because I know. Right? I'm gonna get off this shit. If we're in a proxy war with China, and it's not really about energy dominance, or it is about energy dominance, I don't see how the fuck this is helping. I just don't see it. I think China's playing small ball and just like, you know what I mean? They're not making no show of force. They're not blustering. They're not doing none of that shit. So, guys, I'm sorry, y'all. I just don't see it. But anyway, let's move on. I want to play to y'all how some more people, how we looking. People that I don't like this dude right here. He's legitimately a meat gobbler. He's a cock smoker. That's what he is. That's a statement of fact. It's not a diss. It's a statement of fact of what he is. He's a meat gobbler. This guy is a cock smoker. Okay? I'm agreeing with this cock smoker. This is the shit that I'm saying. Like, they got me out here coming from the Bat Cave to talk about shit that I'm like, I thought we already solved this shit. I thought we had the like unified fucking thing, but it's cool because we got shit to do. But nonetheless, this guy is Rob Smith, okay? Rob's 1,000% a like pile of sticks, right? Let's hear what Rob says.
So there is this very real divide in conservative media in how everybody is covering the Iran war. So I'm on my way right now to do my first appearance on MS Now or MSNBC or MSDNC, whatever it is that they're calling it. And as I put on Twitter, the reason that I'm going to MS Now to speak about my vocal opposition to the Iran war is because there are no major conservative-leaning networks that reach out to me, and they all have my number. So what I see from this is that we don't really have a conservative media that's generally interested in reporting or interested in having multiple perspectives on what's going on right now. We have a conservative media that is more interested in cheerleading what is going on. So we've got 7 dead soldiers. We have 140 more injured. We have...
He says 7. I don't think they hide the coffins for 7 dead soldiers. I'm sorry, guys. I just don't. I don't think that. I think that's the official number, and I think he's being gracious on saying that number. But when they start saying we're not going to start showing when we shipping the bodies back in, it's a bigger number than you think.
Have this now confirmed bomb from America that hit a school in Iran that killed 175 little girls. And people are not happy about this. People are not cheerleading this, all right? People have lots of thoughts about this war. I am vocally against it, have been since before it even launched, all right? And I will die on this hill. It's not a war in America's interests. It's a war in the interests of a foreign government that is not America, and we should not be there.
I think that I agree with the vast majority of what this meat gobbler just said, okay? I agree with the vast majority of what he just said. I'm still stuck on, I don't always want to give into the boogeyman. I don't want to believe like, well, Americans have no autonomy and we just do whatever Jared and them say. Like, I don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because outside of the fact that it do kind of give a little bit of anti-Semitic energy. And I want to be clear. I promise y'all, nobody gave me the $10 million bag. Nobody gave me the fucking bag. I promise you, I promise y'all. Y'all will be seeing me do all kind of shit. Y'all don't see me during the day because I'm fucking working. My point is, if I had the Israeli bag, y'all, I promise y'all would know. For those of y'all that watched me long enough, y'all know my bat signal for if the Illuminati, the Jewish Illuminati gave me the money, okay? However, I don't ever even want to be boxed in that shit. I don't want to be boxed into like everything that the Jews do is evil. Like I got too many Jewish friends that they like, bro, I didn't get a 9,000 fucking credit score as soon as I showed up at Shabbat. Like, that's not how it went. I think they work hard as fuck. I think their government, like our government, be doing shit that the people don't want them to fucking do. So that being said, I don't always think it's just we got dirt on everybody. That's why you can't. I think it's also the American government going, we want to try to stretch this out. If we can get this done, if we can knock Iran down, get them a nice little Rothschild bank up in there, central banking, World Bank, right? If we could knock down, you know what I mean? And then we right at Turkey next, because that's coming. For the expansion of the empire might be the reason why they're doing it. But they can't say it. Because if they say expansion of the empire, you get to go constitution, limited government. Fucking vote on this war, right? So that's my little bit of pushback to, the cocksmoker. I just don't think that it's only just nobody in any, like my brain won't even low key comprehend that it's every single politician, right? And I'm not saying that they don't get money from APAC. It may not be they got them blackmailed. It might just be they like, APAC motherfuckers give a decent bag when it's fucking re-up on the fucking campaign trail time. Campaign money, right? So it might just be that. I'm just saying to y'all, these extreme situations and lack of fucking whatever the fuck, like a cohesive, like why did we do this? That lack of that is making me agree with people that I genuinely think are like weirdos or clowns or absolutely we diametrically opposed. I'm not mad at Bernie Sanders, but I'm never gonna fucking be a Bernie, bro. It's just not gonna happen. But I'm in this show tonight already agreeing with Bernie Sanders, this cocksmoker, and several others. The people that I actually liked, Tulsi Gabbard, and the people when they made that coalition, 2024, right? I find myself disagreeing with them and going like, ugh. I want to go back into my little hole in my workshop and doing what I'm doing because I'm like, ugh, this is what happened? It's just wild. It's wild, and I know y'all feel the same way. I know y'all feel the same way. And it's nothing wrong with y'all acknowledging that and don't get fucking, what's the word, what they call it? Don't get gaslit into believing that you're wrong because you recognize there's certain things that's not adding up. Don't do that. Because this is another thing that's happening. As we're arguing and fighting over this, with something that the dust should have been settled on, this happened. And I'm going to show some more content as it relates to this, right? As we've been talking for 17 days now, is war with Iran. The military-industrial complex and the neocons in government and media could not be more thrilled. No discussion on mass deportations, draining the swamp, deep state arrests, securing our elections, and countless other MAGA promises. I absolutely don't want these nutjob communists on the left to retake power, but damn it if we're not making it easy for that to happen. Is it possible to course correct? Y'all, and I promise y'all, I'm not saying this to sound like I'm so fucking super duper smart, right? I'm not saying it to say this. I'm telling y'all, this shit seems super spiritual to me because I'm just in a space right now where I want to fix shit in my life. Spiritually, financially, mentally, everything. Every Lee, Bruce Lee, fucking Sarah Lee, doesn't matter. If it's a Lee, I want to fix it. I don't want to fight, okay? But what's happening is we're getting caught up in this fight, and I know some of y'all feel it. Please extend them fucking olive branches and get low. Don't fight with that person. Just, all right, cool. Just get low and do the work. Because this little tidbit is happening too. Breaking. The United States national debt has officially surpassed $39 trillion. Trillion. With a TR. Trillion. What the fuck? 27% of that 39 trillion was printed under Donald Trump's 2 terms. He had 4 years in 1 term, and he's, let's say, almost halfway through a 2nd term. 27% of that $39 trillion was printed during Trump's administrations. When I say get small and make room for it all, I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm not saying that to like, I wish I could tell y'all. I can't. I'm just telling y'all it's an actual part of my personality and how I'm going to live right now for the next foreseeable future until I handle shit. We cannot be fighting and arguing. It is not going to solve a fucking thing. Do you feel like we winning right now? Because I see some people on social media talking about, oh yeah, we so much winning with Trump. Do you feel like you're fucking winning right now? I don't. I'm going to put my head down and grind, and I'm challenging everybody to do the same thing. But while we're fighting about stupid shit, that happened. And this happened. This happened. Bank of America settles lawsuit alleging they aided Jeffrey Epstein in trafficking crimes. Do you know what that means, guys? That means we paid the motherfuckers off and it's business as usual. As some principled men and women are talking about, still trying to bring up the Epstein files. These are the things that's going on in the world. But if we arguing and not just working and not looking at what reality is as it relates to that, all of that other shit going to slip by. You could talk yourself, you could argue yourself, you could fight yourself into something with somebody that's supposed to be your fucking, soldier at arms, like your brother in arms. You could do that. I've done it far too many times, and I'm seeing it when I poke my head up. I see it, and I'm like, oh shit, we're doing that. And then meanwhile, again, sorry to be the fuck that guy, guys. Meanwhile, this is happening. This is the world's largest natural gas field in South Pars, Iran. This natural gas field is shared by Iran and Qatar. So y'all know that Iraq right now don't got gas. Iraq right now don't got gas because of this. Israel blew up some shit that was supposed to be a part of Iran. But because those three joints share the same pipeline, Iraq don't got gas right now. These are unintended consequences, or maybe intended. Maybe intended. But I know some of y'all going to be like, well, Maj, that's just what happens. It's not just what happens. It's what happens when we are all focused on beef, and as opposed to calm, collected communication. Or, yo, I gotta do this right now. Just not arguing first. I don't need y'all to slam on the brakes. I just need everybody to let off the gas, pun intended, right? Because otherwise, we won't see the real fucking culprits. Americans largely oppose the war in Iran, but the war is very popular among Washington think tanks who are flush with more than $44 million from weapons companies since 2019 and act as the war's loudest cheerleaders across major media networks. 10 think tanks that receive funding from Pentagon contractors. Look at this. While we're fighting, while soldiers are dying, while we as the American public do not even know how many Americans died, while we're fighting to defend these types of moves because we feel some sort of loyalty to a personality in Donald Trump, more so than the solution. This is happening. These media outlets is getting to the tune of $44 million. Military industrial contracts is you know what I mean? And I get it. If you got a financial interest in this shit, then I understand. That's your hustle. But we getting hustled. That's all I'm saying, guys. We getting hustled. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go back to work. Okay? I thank you all for tapping in. My apologies for talking your ear off for so long. I'm going to ask this 232 of you in the chat tonight. I'm going to ask everybody to donate $10 to the work. To the work. To the work, to the work, to the work. Why am I saying that? Because we have to work. I have to work. I have to grind. If I want this thing to keep going, the Solutionary Center, we in rumbles with that shit. You know what I'm saying? If I want to keep doing this thing that actually serves people, it has to be some sort of cooperative economics. My bad, y'all. My light just went off. It got to be some sort of cooperative economics involved, guys. It has to be. It has to be. If it's not no cooperative economics involved, it's just a rumble. And I'm rumbling. I swear I'm rumbling for y'all. Later on, when we get out of this, I'll tell the whole story. I promise y'all I will. However, tonight I'm going to ask everybody to, if you got some solid information and perspective from the show tonight, do that with a show of support. Show that, hey, I got something from that. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary is the website. I want everybody to just go donate $10. Everybody that donates at the $100 level, you get access to all of the classes. Like, America could not look. The Solutionary Center might not be there no more. America, and I'm going to fight tooth and nail. Everybody, man, fucking my guy's mad at me. Fucking my lady's mad at me. Everybody's fucking mad at me because I put everything on the line for this. I put everything on the fucking line. Y'all have no idea the type of fuck. Maybe y'all do. I'm not trying to shit on y'all sacrifices, right? However, most people don't know the sacrifices and the rumbles that I have made in the fight. And we can fight this shit together. I'm going to feel fucking, man. Anyway, my point is, we could use everybody's help. If you got some value from the show, if you got some perspective, if you really are like, Maj, you put this together, I learned something, thank you for doing these, da-da-da-da. This is the only reason why this makes sense, man. Because it's nighttime. I still got to go back out and do what I got to do, right? My point in saying this is support, okay? GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. Support. If everybody in the joint give $10, $100, $50, it helps out a whole lot with what we got going on, and we appreciate you all. See you guys in the donor shouts. I'll probably go live on IG if they let me. I don't know. I got to find that phone. If they let me go live on IG, I'm going to tap in over there real quick with y'all while I make this ride. And I appreciate y'all all for tapping in. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. Pitch in. Everybody give $10. At the $100 level, you get access to all of the classes. I appreciate y'all all. Be safe. Be solutionary.